Welcome to the Mighty Dragon. Today's guest, Synnove Macody Lund, stars in the smash hit series Ragnorok as Ran. As we spoke, I was impressed with her drive and determination to venture into her acting career. Those nerves that we talk about, they propelled her to draw out her unique acting talent and into performances such as Ran or Gabriella in Spider's Web or Diana in Headhunters. We talk about her career so far, how she prepares for new characters, and how she stays true to that character versus bringing her own interpretation to the role. We also touch upon how to maintain a good work-life balance. She also shares some really helpful tips for aspiring actors too. Welcome to the Mighty Dragon, Synnove Macody Lund.
Thank you
Hello.
very much. Hello.
How are you today? Are you cold in Norway?
I have actually not been outside
Oh.
today. It's so cold outside. I've just stayed at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds a very good plan. Thank you for coming on to the Mighty Dragon to talk about your career. And I'd like to know what drew you to acting as a career?
Well, I originally was not drawn to it at all because I was working as something completely different up till I was 34 years old. So I was a film critic and a film journalist and
Right.
so directed documentaries and worked as VJ in the television things. But then I got children and just worked freelance writing. And then I got quite bored doing just that.
Yeah.
And so the timing was right. I was just like by a coincidence, just called up and asked if I wanted to come for a casting for the film Headhunter because they tried everyone in Norway, but she needed this Diana character needed to be of a certain height. It was a part of the premise in the film. They've tried everyone, and I was a film critic, so I knew people and actors and directors and stuff. So they asked if I wanted to come and give it a try, and it worked. So from then on, because that was such an international hit as well, I guess
Yes.
it kind of took off. It could have been a one-hit wonder, but during that shooting, I was very nervous, had not done this before. But I recognized that, okay, when that was done, it's like, I need to do that again. It's like, it was terrifying, but I need to do it again. And so luckily I was able to, yeah.
And did you feel like for that part that you were just naturally was an actress? Like, was it really terrifying? So, or was just
It
like, no,
was,
I'm a natural.
it
Yeah.
was, it was, I think in general, people tend to think that actors are these outgoing uh,
Yeah.
persons, who are full of themselves and so secure in their own core, blah, 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 blah. But, I'm quite shy and
Yeah.
and a nervous person. So I think I
Yes.
almost developed some kind of, what we call ME. Like I was just in between takes, I would like focus, relax. I was so nervous. And
Right.
oh my God, why am I doing this? This is horrible. But it was also wonderful because you're so afraid and you do it. So
Yeah.
this mix of actually, that's what I love about filming as well, is that, well, the camera is running, you need to do it, it's top.
Yeah.
And I
Sometimes I
need that
think,
push to
yes.
perform. Yeah.
Sorry, I think sometimes nerves makes you perform so much better, doesn't it? And
Mm,
I guess in acting, that's
mm.
true for actors.
Yeah.
Um,
Now that I've been working for so many years, or how much is it? 12, 14.
yeah.
It's I get nervous when I'm not nervous now. If I'm
Ah,
too
right.
kind of cool about things, wow, then I get super nervous. And then I make myself nervous so that I will, it's
Yes.
like this rule inside. Mm.
Okay. We know you as Ran in Ragnarok, and what do you like about her character?
Ah, yeah, what do I love that she's a villain. After I turned
Yes.
40, it's not so much of these, the girlfriend or
Yes.
this just being a beautiful woman, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes we get stuck in that. So after I turned 40, I played mainly villains actually. And so it's
Right.
and she's a giant, which is cool. But actually, what I find most interesting about her is in season 2 and 3, where she kind of cracks up, where she becomes more and more human, and she she starts to lose her powers in a way. And that was so much fun to play that,
Yeah.
her feeling more, not understanding what a tear is, even going to the shrink at school. Those scenes were hilarious to film, because
Yes.
she's so all over the place. She doesn't know where, where she's at.
Yes.
She's cracking up, so, or breaking up in herself. So I think that's, I loved. I was a bit worried. I remember when I read the script, like, why isn't she going to be forceful like she used to? But
Yeah.
but the more I played this, the more fun it was. Yeah,
Great. Villains are always the best
yeah,
characters,
they
aren't
have
they,
this.
in anything?
Mm,
Can you share any funny or behind the scenes moments from Ragnarok with us?
oh, oh, there. The whole shoot of these seasons have been wonderful. We were just laughing all the way, I think, because it was such intense. I think the audience can sense that it's an ensemble that really loves to play and work together. So we had
Right.
loads of fun. I think, if I think there's a clip up there where Ron is coming out, like supposed to jump out of a van with her bow and arrow and like go straight for the
Yeah.
shot. So things like these are always quite difficult and hilarious, because it, it never works pure, as opposed to just like shout Ron, and I'm gonna come up there, and I think I bumped my head in the ceiling like
Oh,
5 times,
no.
or I stumbled, or so that's
Yes.
actually out there in some kind of YouTube thing. You could find it. But so
Oh,
stuff
I will
like that
find
is
that.
always hilarious. Yeah.
And when you're preparing for a new character, how do you immerse yourself in that role?
For me, actually, Ragnarok is the only thing that I've done in Norwegian, where I'm acting in Norwegian for, because I've been,
Ah,
or think the last 9 years, I've only been acting abroad in
right.
English and even Italian.
Ah,
So for me, I think, the preparation is also, if it's a good script, the characters in the dialogue and in the scenes, so it's just your job
right.
to kind of make that come alive. But I think how I prepare, what I use most time doing, is actually working on the dialogue and working on the English, and get it as natural and fluent as possible, and learn it so well that I can kind of recite it without even thinking. And then, because if I don't know the words like completely by heart, which I did not need to do not need to do in Norwegian, then I can ad lib more. But when I'm acting in English, I really need to feel it or know it so well, to be able to put the feelings on top of it, because it's
Yes.
two parts of the brain, I think. So sometimes when I'm starting to act in English, I forget the words. So
Right.
there's some very thorough rehearsing going on my part before I even go for a reading with the other actors, or. So I need to be
Okay.
super prepared for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What challenges have you faced in your acting career and how did you overcome them?
I think maybe the language thing is a challenge. Um,
Yes.
and I don't know. I don't. It's been such a wonderful story for me, actually,
Yes.
coming into this, so by such coincidence. And so I've been so humble about it. For me, every time I get a new job, I'm like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? It's like, really?
Oh,
So I'm so excited. Like, the best part
yeah.
of the job is getting the job, and then it's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to do this. But I don't, what I think is most challenging in general is the need, or the the industry's kind of expectation that I'm supposed to look fantastic every bloody day. even if I've
Right.
slept. Or so this claim on us women that we need to look like idiotically beautiful and fresh all the time is it demands a lot of hard work to maintain yourself and
Yes.
be healthy, even though I'm not, but it's sometimes when you get into that makeup chair, you're kind of, oh my God, why?
Yeah. I
I
think in your
think that's the hardest part.
profession,
Huh?
that's even
Mm,
more so, isn't it? In your
mm,
profession, to
mm.
to always look good.
Yeah. And you can't kind of complain then if you, yeah, that's the name of the game.
Yeah. Are
Still,
there any dream roles or projects that you aspire to be a part of in the future?
not really. I don't have any kind of, I think maybe now it would be nice to do something uh, where I can use what maybe made me good at this in the first place, that I more emotions, more uh, something more modest or sincere in some way, that
Yeah.
I'm kind of longing a bit to act that where I'm quite natural, and that it's not so over the top all the time, because I tend to be cast in kind of stereotypical villain parts, maybe. With Saw X, which I joined now, of course, there's a dream of more American films, maybe on that
Right.
market. I would be a fool if I did not try to do that. Um, but also a British costume drama could be fun.
Yeah.
But no,
Wonderful.
in general, also I love the mix of drama and comedy, which you find in Ragnorok, and you can find it in Black Widows, in
Yes.
the Italian project Everybody Loves Diamonds that I did recently. Also, I love this mix where it's a crime comedy, or it's a growing up story with some comedy elements
Yeah.
in it, like not pure thing, but it's always fun to play those projects. Yeah, so comedy
Right.
is nice and wit.
Right. Right. How do you balance staying true to a character versus bringing your own unique interpretation to a role? That's a killer question, isn't it?
Very hard. I think, like I said, uh, once you're cast for something, it's because you have something of that character in you already, or you interpret that
Ah,
already. And also, if it's a good script, your character is in the scenes. There is not like everyone, like method acting, or everyone talks like that we do this big thing. It's like, for me, it's more, I'm also like a journalist or a writing person. For me, it's very much about finding this solution kind of in the words and in the scenes, so that the scene actually establishes your character, not you. It's like, how do
right.
you make it come alive? What feels, usually what feels natural is the most correct thing. When you feel something, oh, why isn't this working, you would feel it immediately. So one thing is to prepare for that by yourself, like I say, but you never really know before you're on set with the other actor
Yes.
what's going to happen. So it's a ongoing process all the time. So it's sometimes really hard to prepare, which makes you nervous. But then again, like you say, you need that. So
Yes.
yeah.
Ah, what advice would you give to aspiring actors entering the industry?
Like I said, being a bit nervous and shy, stuff like that should at least not stop you, because that might be a superpower. Being
Right.
sensitive and being aware and being an observer, and maybe being very self-aware or whatever, all those things can always be used as something forceful. Uh, and however you are as a person, be brave, and don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself, or because if you're too timid, of course, then so you need to push yourself and
Right.
not give up, I guess. because you'll get
Yes.
some rejections along the way as well. Mm.
Yes. Well, as a busy actress, how do you maintain a good work-life balance?
I'm quite lazy, so I tend not to do more than 2 projects a year at the most.
Right.
So I would get a bit stressed if I had to do more, I think. And I don't work at the theater, or so I actually do not work at all when I'm not shooting.
Yes.
And I'm just the mother making dinner and don't even go out.
That's
So
busy enough as
I'm
well.
quite, yeah, I feel very privileged because I get up with my kids and get them to school and light the fireplace, and then I go to bed again and I have a new sleep sequence from 8 o'clock till maybe 12. So, but when I'm working, it's for 12 hours when we're up at 4 or 5 in the morning, So,
Wow,
this
yeah.
balance, sometimes I can get, a bit bored when I'm not working.
Yes.
Uh,
Right.
that's more of a problem. And then when I'm shooting, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could just,
Yeah.
what I'm going to make for dinner would be the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And maybe that balance, and you also become kind of a little sailor when you're working like this, like being abroad. So like what I say is that when you're at home, you long to be out there, and when you're out there, you long to be at home.
Yeah.
So you get a bit
Yeah.
biased in your head. Yeah.
Yeah. Your last question, you'll be pleased to hear. What do you have coming up?
I cannot say. It's so
Oh, yes.
yeah. I can say it's fantasy thing. Gonna be shot far away. Yeah, but I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it yet.
Okay, I always ask that question, and I'm always said, "I'm sorry, we can't say."
No, no, no. It's like you
I'll
can't
have
even
to-
talk about it almost until
Yeah.
it's getting streamed, which is quite
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Lastly, just to say thank you so much again for coming on to the Mighty Dragon podcast. All the best for Christmas and for 2024 to you. And
Same
looking
to
forward
you.
to
Thank
seeing
you.
more of your work. Thank you so
Thank you very much.
much.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye. Bye bye.